I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members are present. With the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve
Oh,
the,
I'm sorry, we got a couple of. Oh, you got it.
make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight, October 11th, with the added E and F under new business. Or
Take a spot. We have a spot. A motion support to approve the agenda with the two amendments. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Approval of the meeting minutes for our regular meeting, August 8th and September 27th.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting of 8/8/2022 and the special meeting 9/27/22 minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion support to approve the minutes for our regular meeting, August 8th, 2022. And our special meeting on September 27th, 2022. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. At this time we have public comment. If there's anything that anybody would like to bring up to council, that would be the time.
I would just like to know, you added E and F. Can you say what those are? They're made on the permit sheet.
Yes, EE is the removal of a tree that apparently is leaning towards somebody's house. It's on Erie Street. It's leaning towards the house. So we will be discussing that. And item F is we need to replace one of our benches.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Close the public comment at this time. Approval of accounts, treasurer's report for August and September of the year packet. Motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report, August 2022 and September 2022.
I'll second.
We have a roll call, please.
Warren. Yes. Sidney. Yes. Warren.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes. And the payment of bills and transfers for August and September is also.
And I'll make a motion to approve the payments of bills transfers for August 2022 and September 2022.
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. There's a motion to approve the bills and transfers for August and September 2022. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, reports and administrative report.
Aquatic plant management sent me an email, which I included in my reports there, asking to be considered next year. When we, to continue taking care of the services on our mill pond. The village Halloween hours are always the same, it's gonna be on October 31st, Monday from 6 to 7:30. I provided you, MDOT provided me with the small urban grant resurfacing figures, and that again, then for M15 west to the village limits with a $206,204 grant for a local amount of $25,000. completed in 2023. The next one is a small urban grant to do current sidewalk widening and beautification on M15. So the $62,500 grant amount of $12,500. And then the next one is Pontiac Street, which will be resurfaced from East Hebo North, hearing over $50,000 grant and a local amount of $10,000 to be completed in 2025. And then I provided the council with a couple of confidential attorney things and my report to them. Well, one more thing real quick. I have been working with the Ladies Museum, Historical Society on our Ladies Museum. I think that we've been trying to fill the numerous holes and stuff with the animals, critters, and bugs that are causing in the building. There's certain things we can use, things, because it's a historical thing. In cooperation with the Atlas Township and with us, our CDBG funds, we're going to have approximately $60,000 to redo the foundation. And I spoke with Mary Waddell, who is the field environmental officer from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, regarding this project. And she suggested that I speak with and set up information with Cody Roberts in the Genesee County Commission, because this is it would probably need a HUD environmental review that will need to be completed before we begin to touch anything on it, like replace the board with the foundation, because the actions being proposed will be evaluated in relation to their impact. This could involve tribal consultations, as there is often excavation or ground disturbance when demolishing and reconstructing foundations. Now, that whole area there is a historical district. Are you guys aware of that? There's several buildings there. So you also have to look at what the impact is on those other buildings around it before you start up some of them. It said, I'm told that we will be using CDBG funds to repair the foundation, and that they will be able to assist us with the HUD environmental review. So they'll have contacted people to come out and give us this review before we go further to see if this building, because it's quite old, would warrant the use of a historical professional to ensure that the work proposed or performed does not impact the integrity of the building or the other buildings in the historical district. So I'm waiting for the response. So they send someone out to review and then help us move forward and guide us.
So, do they just jack that up, or do they move it out of there completely?
That's what this environmental study will tell us. I mean, it's really bad, Matt. That can attest to that. It's bad shape.
A lot of the sign's pretty rotted, so every time we patch a hole from the squirrels, they go right next to patch, get right back in. It's just all dry rot. It's dry rot. It's
Really
it's some better days. Foundation. It's old. It's just sitting on stone. The stone wall is pretty much like it supports the floor. I mean, it needs work. I'm sure it needs safe, but it needs a TLC.
So I
No, I'm just laughing because I know the building we're talking about.
Well, we'll be looking at once I find out what we need to do with after we're gonna have to take it, and I'll be looking for more grants. And I will keep society informed of what's taking place, and keeping her in the loop. Okay, all that.
DPW.
All right, kickball's up and that's all. We painted the lines on the test court for kickball. So it's all set. Or has an issue of the alarms going on.
That's his.
Anyways, pickleball lines are painted.
We possibly
That's
take a
all.
picture of that on Facebook, it says that it's up and good to go.
So many ones, yeah, crank everything on the net, so all set to go. We did some ditching on, Pine Street. And, yeah, it should up the water. Water was running from the top intersection, quarterly down the hill, or start to right you away at the actual road. So we did some ditching, water. We haven't had really good rains to really test it out yet, but
Tonight.
tomorrow it's gonna be next
So we'll have fun.
Pine
So we
Street.
want to get that.
We got some crosswalks painted. Chloride's been late this year. I was supposed to do it last week, rain. I need at least 3 dry days to do it. They're off Monday, and now they're saying rain for tomorrow and Thursday. So that probably rules this week out. I'm gonna try to shoot for next. Usually I don't do it just like in a year, but I like to lock the road in for winter. Now, if you don't do it, it's about $1,500 savings. I'm still gonna grade the road regardless. No, it's us, or we hire it. It's, then Blackstone's held up really well. Yeah, I mean, we are great regardless one more time. I mean, we usually have chloride double now, but it's weather's been. And we've been busy doing some other stuff, so. It does, it's been down quite a bit this year.
Yes, yeah.
Do we do all the fluoride?
Twice a year.
treatment?
They do it, it's MCS.
But we, but you have to work, kind of coordinate that with them though, right?
Correct, yes.
So I mean, you gotta get like, when can you guys come out prior to?
I do it
the
all a week
roads?
before, yeah, I do a couple week before. Why don't you give them a week or so, notice the 3 days. We got catch basin on Rose Lane, you can work on it too. And we started putting up piers for the speed radar signs, one in the East Eagle and Ridge Road. I'm just waiting to get a break in the rain, so Ken's are really busy right now, so it's hard to get concrete. I got kind of work on their schedule too. 2 yards for Rose Lane. And 2 piers, I'm guessing a yard and a half, maybe 2 piers.
So those are in nice study locations, right?
They have the solar, you know, you have to watch.
So where are they going again?
East Eagle, just as you come into town.
Yeah, but whereabouts?
You can see he's in color there right now. Right past your house that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right 10 feet.
So it's gonna be 20, coming into town,
Yeah.
Yep, so you got.
and then the one on Eagle for.
Right.
Is whereabouts?
You know where Turner used to live? It's just before their house, where Boland's house is.
Where is it regards to the stop sign?
It's before the stop sign. Coming into town.
Coming into town before the stop sign.
That was real tricky because you can't put it on curves, you can't put it on dips, it can't be in shape. So Ridge Road was really limited where you put it. So, we just wait for concrete, they're all for it today, so.
You guys haven't done it, so there's digging holes.
No, holes are done, the car, you have to put them on a sonotube for like a pier,
Yeah,
because it holds right to that. It's all set now, so we're just waiting for Ken's to get open, we put some concrete.
any issues with the homes?
And we just came out and said anything yet, so.
Okay, very good.
Knock on wood. And I had a resident call about the tree. And it was $700 for tree and $150 for the stump. So $850 total.
Now, what is the technically the protocols? You see, a lot of times people have like a butcher tree because we did our part of it. Is it something that we can discuss with them, like a partial payment? Do the whole payment for them? Do we? For the tree? Yeah.
It's in the
Right,
record,
it's-
right?
it's in our right, it belongs to us.
We don't do too many, I mean, we've been pretty fortunate, we don't do a whole lot.
But if that happened, we probably, I would say we would, would you? If it was on somebody's property, we would, and the edge, you know, or.
Well, obviously.
Depends where it was.
it's
If it was like
that big.
If it was all on theirs.
That would be theirs.
That should be theirs, yeah.
But obviously it's an old tree, like they just planted it and now it's leaning against the house.
No.
And the fences, they're 547. It's just like the one that's at the park. Underneath the little shed, there's like composite green plastic, that's what they are.
Is there any others? Because do companies like that ever offer a discount on multiples? Is there any others?
I know I didn't want to have to be multiple. I just thinking of one at least Bridge and Eagle, that's all summer, so. We have it down there.
Need to be replaced, so correct.
Yeah, we first, that one, Gordon was here, I first started here like 2000. But the all wooden ones, and over time, the wood's pretty much, it's just a product. So we're like replacing a composite, because there's no paint on it.
Yeah.
It lasts forever.
Oh, winter.
Yes. They're heavy, the old original ones are like, that's why you stay there.
Man, I got a question for you, in regards to, down in the park now, we got that rail fence down there.
Oh, yes.
Right. So, I'm just thinking that's brand new, for this year, and I'm just wondering about. I mean, I've never went to watch them, but like, you know, when they use that for sledding, if they go that far or not, I'm just wondering if maybe we need to put some bales of straw.
Yeah, well, technically, they're not supposed to slug.
Yeah, I thought it was unsafe.
I'm sure it's still people do.
They were gonna stop it.
We have 5.
And we can maybe put a snow fence possible.
I mean, if we put a snow fence up along the water,
The risk management tells us not to do
not to do it because of the wrong water.
Well, the dangerous, yes, we don't want to condone.
There's credit right now.
You know, I think we'll put in like straw bale. You know, we put straw bales before.
Yeah, well, I know you did in the past.
We put them there.
Yeah, but
Get all
well,
for safety.
kind of thing.
I understand what you're saying, but we really don't want to.
No, okay, no.
Another
not a
reason.
problem.
Yeah.
Sorry to ask, I wasn't aware that.
Yeah, we had a sign up there, we took it down, so the Everest management said no. Flooding. That's it.
To put that sign back up.
So we don't have a sign, we don't have a sign that says no flooding. We do.
Yeah, well, we had the flooding one, we first did it. Actually, cut it down.
But we need one that says no. Oh, we had one that said no.
I think there- Yeah,
I think there is.
It is.
If not, we didn't.
yeah, I double check.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to building department activity, the building department activity report is in your packet for your, yeah. Also, fire department activity report, I'm not gonna go through that here, but that is also, in your packet for review. Item E, sheriff's department activity report, that is also in your record, or in your packet. If no one has any questions, I will move on to unfinished business. All right, I will move on to unfinished business. And the first order of business we have is the adoption of the food truck village permit application, and I will finish what we do, so.
Thank you. And as I mentioned, when I emailed this out to you, other council members, is after talking to the food truck owners and the rest of the, the business owners, it was just kind of a consensus on how it could be brought down to one page, that one person like here, or one person like Good Times is hosting it. They can fill this out. They can have all the information. They still need to submit everything. Everything was copy and pasted over from Sherry's about them turning in all of their notifications, certifications, letters of intent, etc. This just kind of again puts them on one page, and then also once we do eventually reword the ordinance, because the ordinance just says it needs to be a mobile vehicle. That's not always true. Some people have a trailer, some people have a table, some people set up a booth. So at least this kind of, again, spells it out very clearly, so we know exactly who's selling what on one piece of paper, before an event happens.
And as far as fees,
So there, we had never had a fee before. What I suggested, and they kind of reciprocated back, was that we said a $50 permit fee that would be refunded if everything was cleaned up after. Because if, if Matt goes in there and says, well, you guys left trash, even though they say that they're taking all that away, that at least the DPW would be able to recoup that money for their time to pick up things. We haven't had a fee, and they thought $50 seemed fair.
Why don't we do the $50 and partial refund? Instead of
It's
the
totally up
entire.
for whatever you guys
Yeah.
suggest.
I guess so this is 50, so if they've got, so this is, if they have, an event down there. This is a permit that the person that's organizing the event.
Or an individual.
Right, I mean, but more than likely, if we've got, like the last one that we had down there, it's gonna be filled out by the person coordinating the
Yes.
event, right?
Yes.
So I guess my only issue is, as far as not having any fee at all, is just because, and I guess I'll refer to you, Matt, in regards to this, because I have no idea. But if I'm sure there's probably maybe some kind of cleanup that has to happen. I mean,
Warren bill has a $25 fee.
We've been pretty good. I mean, nothing's been totally.
I guess the problem is if there was a lot of garbage out, and even if these guys had, spend 2 hours out there, just cleaning it up, I mean, that basically eats up the $50 fee pretty much, and it's like, well, you're gonna say, well, they can go out there and clean up and stuff, and, they're gonna say, well, but it wasn't that bad, but, well, we still had to send her. I don't know, I almost wonder if we should just charge $50 or $25 just
Yeah.
refundable.
That's what we do.
Yeah, just so we got something that way, if there is, if you guys gotta go down for a little bit, it's like, all right, well, it's not that bad, so we'll refund them their money, knowing that we brought in the $25 of top. I don't know, something we did.
On the insurance stuff though,
Nowhere on here does it show, holding the village, harmless if anything happens. So that might have to be put into their insurance policy where it's recorded right in there that states that the village is not responsible.
That would be in their certificate, for me to add it on there too.
If anything,
Because they should have their ordinance too.
if anything, it should be put on here, because
Yeah.
we're trying to force them to add a clause in their insurance, we have no way to enforce that.
So this one has so many people.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, there's a horrible environment. 9 in, and it has it in there. 9 in. 9 in. Yep. Here, the people over, to, see it.
Yeah, where's the other?
Hold harmless. There's,
It doesn't say.
yeah, there's one in there.
No.
But we need to add that.
I think we should add one in there, just to stop saying that,
So after insurance, you go, in parentheses, be sure to have all of us agreement. On what is record.
Very much. What did you say that?
It's not in here at all, so I will add it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's in the ordinance, so they should, it says here that they've read the ordinance and everything, so we can add it as a second reminder, but be sure to review the Village of Goodrich ordinance, and that's same thing here
But
is too.
is there a whole harmless?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay, all right, just. I'm sure we're covered.
Yes.
Yeah, check. Full harmless agreement.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion that we approve the food truck, permit application with, the amendment about the harmless.
And 25, 50.
And, oh, yes, and
Yeah.
that we change it to, $50 and we'll refund for 25.
I'll second.
With motion support to approve the, adopt the food truck village permit application with, set amendments. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And make those changes.
Moving on to new business, we have accept resignation for code enforcement officer and authorize administrative clerk to post for applications to fill vacant position.
It's pretty cut and dry.
It
right?
is. Yeah.
Then I will make a motion to accept the resignation from the code enforcement officer and authorize administrator clerk to post for applications to fill the vacant position.
I'll second.
We have motion and support to accept the resignation from our code enforcer and authorize the administrator to post applications to fill a vacant position. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item number B is approved the contract application for payment. Our engineer Kevin Cook here, and I will let him briefly talk about some of the overruns that we had on that project.
Good evening. The final pay application came in from the contractor. Based on the unit prices in the contract, there were a total of 18 unit prices for the various road reconstruction elements. The payment application was for $584,422.30. The original bid, based on the planned unit amounts, was $520,862 for a difference of over of $63,560.30. As part of the funding for the project, the administrator put a $30,000 contingency in the bid, resulting in a cost overrun beyond the funding for the project of $33,560.30. Primarily, the cost overruns were associated with damaged pavement that was encountered after we milled the current surface off. We had additional pavement removal and then the replacement of roadway base. So we had to take areas off that essentially the milling machine sank into the pavement. The two areas worst were the two cul-de-sacs. The one furthest to the south and east, I believe, was worse than anticipated, which is peculiar because there wasn't much presence of damaged pavement prior to the milling, as opposed to the other longer cul-de-sac center of the subdivision, where we knew we anticipated that and had big quantities for that. So beyond the additional pavement removal and the base, the other quantities were. So as I indicated to the administration, road projects are challenging. Once you get into them and you encounter more unforeseen conditions, it's really the time to fix them. That is the reason that we bid unit prices. So we have a unit price for each contract item. So we don't just do a lump sum price and then be beholden to the contractor for extras. They give us an estimate. We have competitively bid unit pricing. So we know that if we have an overage, we have a known unit price for that. So we held to those unit prices. We negotiated with the contractor and did get a small reduction, a $10,000 reduction. But that was all that we could get out of them. So they knew from the beginning that this was a very tight budget, tight project, because it was a special assessment district. We didn't have federal dollars, road dollars back behind us, so, which is typically the case in road projects. So you don't like cost overruns. You don't like to say they're common, but they're typical with road reconstruction. You simply don't know what you have on there until you open it up. So Matt was there almost all the time. We had an inspector on site during the difficult pavement removals. So all things are-
Underbid it. Wouldn't you rather have it a little higher than lower?
Well, they said they cushioned it at 30 grand.
Yeah, it was a 6% contingency. 5 to 10 is typical. Did we underbid? Oh, we went out, we walked it, we physically measured everything, looked at everything. Well, I mean, clearly we underbid it because there were overruns. Those are unforeseen conditions. That bad cul-de-sac back to the right would not have anticipated any of that. Could have seen more in the longer cul-de-sac, but actually, after they worked it and put more base in, that was relatively close to planned quantity there. So we had one area that was an increase. The curb removals were just 74 feet of extra that was just field marked. The driveway removals were on. They might have even done a slight reduction. Yeah, and those are typical areas where you might get an increase, and those are pretty close. Sometimes you get into trading, you have a certain amount dedicated to this driveway, but get out there, you can move it around. So,
How many vacant lots are still on this?
That was your cost out there.
But there's about 80 parcels total, right? 84, and I think I counted almost 50 homes in there. So it's just barely half the little over, but
So the 33, you said that's the difference, then the 10,000 that he adjusted.
no.
That's
it's included.
So I would like to postpone this approval. My feeling is that, when we had the homeowners approach us to pave their roads via special assessment, and our agreement was that we would take on engineering costs, which, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere around 45.
64.
45,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought, $45,000. And I think we kind of set a precedence there that, we kind of talked about it, that would be what we would do moving forward, is take care of engineering costs. But we did not agree to pay for any overages. And so the problem that we have is that the special assessment was established and the bonds were taken out in regards to that. I still think that the overpayment should be paid through the special assessment district. I did the math on this based on around 80 units. It comes out to about $345 per household, which over 10 years would be about $35 extra.
About the people that already paid up for it, 'cause there's.
I don't know, that's why I want to postpone it, is because I've asked for our lawyer to see if
Yes.
there's the possibility for us to, what procedures we have to go through in order to amend the special assessment. And so I'd like to hear from our attorney first before we move forward, just,
Right.
you know, because, if we, the problem is we're gonna run into other issues like this, as we have in the paving projects. And if we pay this, then every project after this that has overruns, we're gonna be expected to pay.
And really, like you said, $35 a year for 10 years. You know, I don't think that's too much of a sticker shock for them.
So,
Yeah, you never know. I mean, there may have been a small print in that, and we just don't know off the top of our heads right now about overages.
so I'd like to make a motion to postpone the approval of, the contractor's application for payment until our attorney has the chance to review it, and give us, a legal opinion on if, and how, we can, amend the special assessment, and then after we've got his opinion, then I think we'll make a decision. We have a motion of support to postpone, the approval of the contractor's application for payment, until our lawyer, has a chance to give us a legal opinion on how we should move forward. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Item number C, consider increase for future elected council meetings, stipend to, $100 a meeting, the chairman is $75 per council person. It's been a long time. Well, because 20 some years ago, when I was on council, it was $20 a meeting. And then it was raised up to $35 a meeting. And that was 20 years ago. Basically, every 20 years, prices increase. And so I don't think it's unheard of by any means, to make this, this increase. $75 per meeting works out to around $900. So it's not like it's a big item, but, we spent a lot of time, a lot of the items on here, and, if we, increase, the wages for these positions, maybe, we'll get, qualified people, applying for council. It's just. So anyways, if,
I'll make a motion then for the increase for future elected council meetings, stipend to $100 per meeting for chairperson, $75 per meeting for council.
we have motion and support, to increase the future elected council meeting stipend to $100 per meeting for the chairperson and $75 per meeting for the council, each council person. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number D is this, is to discuss the building permit issued at 9525 Feeble Road, which expires 12/13, which expires 12/13/22, right? So the reason we asked you here tonight, Mr. Inger, is we've had a lot of phone calls in regards to your trailer and stuff like this. And our here in violation of a couple of our ordinances. One is you can't live on property line. We can't have a sign out there, a business sign can't be on a residential property. And then you got to take care of the grass. But we've had lots of complaints, and I mean a lot of complaints. And that hasn't been dealt with up to this point, because we haven't had a code enforcer for some time. We just hired a person, due to some physical complications, gave, their resignation, so we're now looking for another, code enforcer, but that's primarily why we haven't addressed this up to this point. But, I will go ahead and give you the floor so you can kind of explain what you're doing, and so forth. And
I'm kind of wondering, like, there's a lot of complaints. I hear a lot of neighbors saying, wow, thank God someone's doing something with this 80-year-old dump. Let's figure it's dump. 8 years of sin buried there of people's garbage thrown away, their tires ripped. We crossed that railroad tie. Garbage and waste that people chose to put there and dump. I don't know if there's a permit, issue they will start with, but there's the engineering required of backfilling loads of asphalt and junk. I mean, I bought the property knowing there's garbage there, deal with that. No way did I know that the township was a village just made property out of a hole. And I thought I was gonna dig some footings last fall, have a structure up. Had money, had the trusses ordered, lay the trusses, because when we started digging in the ground, we found close to 25 feet of garbage. I thought I was on solid ground. I called out engineer, and on the hole, he started picking up chunks of asphalt, rebar, clay pot. And it's just garbage. So whoever's calling you first of all, I think it's kind of start by saying, hey, are you opposed to this guy trying to take a dump? And he's already put hours and hours worth of street room, cleaning garbage up, taking stuff with the garbage out of there, cleaning up all the trees, digging out ground to make it stable enough to actually hold the building. That in all rights, someone should have said something about that along the way. Hey, no, that's an 80-year-old dump, about 30 feet of fill. Nobody did it, and it's my fault. You know, I got some sort of boring, but I just never really thought that a town like this, a village like this, just turn their back on a dump. And nobody graded it. There's no grading to run a tractor. I mean, I've run my machine across it. It gets buried, and I end up digging ruts trying to get across it. All of it is this piles of dirt that eroded down to a point so it looks sort of flat. It's not. You can walk it and you'll break your ankle. There's no real mowing. I paid a kid to come and do some weed whipping, and I got really behind with COVID. Every single material I went to purchase has been double or triple up. Tried to buy ahead. I tried to do everything I could to keep this project moving. Now I'm pouring basement walls tomorrow, and it's moving along. It's gonna be, should be in the, it should be framed in by midwinter. So that's fine by midwinter. I'm doing it by myself, out of pocket. Trying to go as far as I can. And, you know, I planned to be in that building, so my lease ran out. I thought I'd be in the building, and then come to find out that there's no building to be built without excavating 30 feet of overburden to get to virgin soil. And then out of nowhere, I get Consumers Power that wants to bring me in from the far side. So I got 400 foot away from my site is the nearest power I can get when there's one right across the road. They claim the bridge won't let us bore under the ground. They gotta go over, they gotta get permits, then they gotta have a foundation attached. So that's another $13,000 bringing in temporary power. I mean, I've done nothing but improve it, and anybody can't see that really doesn't understand the construction process or doesn't really have an eye for development. So I understand that people aren't happy, and a lot of people want to complain that the trailer was originally there for a construction trailer that I'd be able to use because I work daylight to dark. I would be working right there right now. I do this every day. I work 7 days a week. Sunday was the first day I've been working in months. I was barely there this summer. I was up in Port Austin. I was there when I come home, when I'm back to the town, which is my home. I work nonstop. I'm doing the best I possibly can. We're in the middle of a material shortage. He's talking about getting concrete from Kent. I'm pulling every string I can to get concrete tomorrow. I got 25 yards of work. There's a concrete shortage. Nobody expected this. I may have to cut the wood off the property to use to build it, but luckily wood prices are pretty been down. So it was a good plan, but when we make plans, sometimes got lots about them, but it's on its way. It's going to be done. It's going to be a beautiful project. It's going to add to the community. I know what I'm doing. I've been a builder my whole life. I've been in this trade from, other kids carry teddy bears that I do it from my head hammer. And that's what I do. Just give me a chance to get it done and it'll be a beautiful project. But yeah, I'm building a house. My house. I call it a break room. You might call it a garage, but cars that garage.
And then did you buy the property off a person or from village? Did you buy the property from the village or off a person? So it's not 100% our fault that.
It's not. Well, it's an area that I guess people have dumped in. It
Is it
was
speaking?
never an official dump. But
People that.
Yeah, but that is the village's sewer tract there. That's the village's. You guys said your sewer system tore up, and that's where it got dumped. I can pull it out and prove it. It is the village of Goodrich's sewer system that's in the back of my property. And I'm gonna start pulling pieces out because I can't. There's craters big enough for the 4 of us, 5 of us crawl inside in the back, which is concrete chunks. That just chunks it. And it's just big open craters that traders can live in. My neighbors gotta look over it. And, who knows what's living in there? But I've got to deal with all that. So
Mr. Ingram, I can sympathize with the issues that you had. It sounds like you've had many unforeseen issues in regards to that piece of property. In regards to consumers not letting you run across the roads. But the fact of the matter is that we don't allow people to live on property while they build a house. It's not allowed in our ordinances. Temporary buildings like a tool shed or something like that, those are allowed, but not a full-size camper. It's just not allowed.
you got campers all over. People are saying that I can point them out. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not saying, but there people are doing that. Just give me a few months.
You're on a main thoroughway. Everybody drives by it every day. There's gotta be, is there some place that you can take that? I don't know, do you have relatives in the area where you can take that, park that?
I work from daylight till dark. I walk in, I take a shower, I go to sleep, I get up and I go to work. That's all I do. I don't hang out. I don't have any other hobbies. That's what I do. No, I don't. I'm not moving it. It's Sarah's house done. I'm selling it. It'll be done. If I can pull it in the building in a few months, it'll be in there. It'll be out of sight, out of mind. So I don't know what else to say.
What is the time frame on a building permit? And when was the original permit open?
We don't let other people have vendors on their house, on their property when they're building houses. It's against our ordinances. If we
You're
can
gonna buy the property back, clean your stuff off of it, and give me my money back out of it. I'm not moving out. Find an alternative plan because I don't have an alternative motive. I've got to finish this project. It has to be done. I've rolled every bit of money I've got into it. I'm scraping every dollar I've got by it. In a few months and everything should be fine. I'll read it.
You won't have your occupancy permit for months.
Oh, I won't. But there is a temporary occupancy for, I see it in there. Get my attorney to start pulling it out. We want to get our attorney involved. I got one that works for pro bono for me. I mean, we can go that route, but we really should just come to agreement.
Sir,
I'm taking it down and I'm turning it into a park.
In my opinion, it needs to go. How much time do you need to get all of it?
I'm letting you know right now, not leaving, so let it be told, I'll put federal land tax on the property. And you guys won't even come on the property, and I'll get state inspectors if you wanna go that route. Just leave me alone for a little while, I'll take care of every problem I can with you, and I'll do this right, and it'll be a nice project. You won't have to drive by Goodrich and Dump anymore, it'll be a beautiful piece of property. It will be. Give me a minute, there's more crap to deal with there. And it's, like I said, everybody in Goodrich knew about that for a long time.
You can take your trailer to a campground. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's going, you're just, that's where you're at. Go next process. Get it going.
I think we should give you 30 days. What time?
We give a couple months.
You
30
wanna come
days.
in 30 days.
Well, is a year 12/21? That's 3 months, it's 2 months. I'm saying, but if you took it out in 21,
You
it'll
said,
be a year, 2 months.
you said you would have that.
The footings are supposed to report tomorrow. Cement basement walls.
It won't be there 2 months. Right?
I'm doing everything.
I know.
I really am. You know, this is the city job where I had a guy going through his water drill, and I don't have estimators, I don't have cost assessment, I don't have engineering. Every bit of engineering that I've had to pull out is I pull out of my pocket, do engineering myself. Most of the drawings myself. I've done every bit of it. I've done all the forestry. I've done $40,000 in forestry.
Your builders.
$20,000 this aggregate just to be able to drive on the property.
Well,
So
my feeling is that we have ordinances that need to be enforced.
I mean,
And
just
we've
examples.
had many calls up there in regards to,
Well, like Fairview's an example, like it's not buildable right now, and we're not letting the builder build on it. If it wasn't buildable, like the project shouldn't have started. It's been 12 months, 10 months, excuse me. But it wasn't our property, just like that builder's gonna sit there until the water goes down, he can't build. I mean,
that has nothing to do with this
I
particular
understand, but there's
situation.
no campers on those, so that's why it's not a problem. There's a camper there, and I get what you're saying.
I mean,
Well, that's the inside, all of this campers.
Where's all the-
Well, right? You can't be part of it.
If people are living in campers, then let's, well, if we're trying to set a precedent, we set a precedent. How many more campers can possibly be in your village limits?
I don't know, but that's not what we're talking about. You know what, anybody that has any issue, we need a code enforcer. It should have been brought to us a long time ago. But people are very upset that we're not enforcing our ordinances, and they need to be enforced.
I agree.
I'll give you 2 months, but it's gotta be out of here before snow comes. I mean, I'll make a motion, that we allow Mr. Eber to leave his trailer there, through December 1st. All those, we have a motion and support to allow Mr. Eber to leave his trailer there, until December 1st. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Item number E is removal of trees. On Erie Street, we already talked about it, so it was $850, $700, another $150 to remove the stump. In your opinion, that needs to go, or?
The real right away, it's, I'd say 3/4 way dead. The plane right towards the south. We've cut other trees for them to pass it. They have
It's a
to-
management for us.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to, new business item E, to have DPW remove and stump out the tree requested on your street.
your motion of support, to pay $850 for the removal of the tree on your street that is leaning towards someone's house. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And item number F is $547 to replace a bench in the village.
My only comment is I would like to see if there's, before we approve this one, if there's any more, like he said, if we can check and see, I mean, the solar signs, we saved, $200 by getting 2 signs instead of 1.
Just out of curiosity, so this bench is just a normal size bench? And the materials are?
Well, he has.
Yeah.
It's just like one that's underneath the shed at the park. That green one. Then there's one right next to the playscape down there too, same thing.
Yeah, you could have already got all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Point, we need to find out if we have to buy 7 or 8 of them, can we get a better price?
Right, the ball.
That's what we need to do.
And like I said, it's, I mean, they.
And this is buying the bench or buying the material? And
No, it's fine.
buying the whole bench, okay.
So can we postpone it?
And I
Yeah,
would also, when they brought it up last time, I'd like to reach out to possibly give her good times and see if anybody would want to put something on and possibly contribute to the purchase price. If somebody want to do things in our community, they want to give back and have their name up there.
That'd be nice. for me to provide you with contact information. Good and good times off.
So then I'm gonna make a motion for new business items F to postpone having the new park bench replaced until further discussion is done.
Support. Motion to support to postpone the bench replacement at a cost of $547 until Matt can find out information in regards to what other benches we may need to replace. All those in favor say aye.
Matt, did you check around to different places to get the prices? or-
Yeah, I got some here.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
That motion carries. Next order, business is public comment.
Sorry, I just want clarification on your food truck ordinance. It was stated that one organization, like here or whatever, would fill out the form, and let's say there's 5 trucks. So is that one $50 charge or $50 per truck?
It's one per application.
For
So
one?
individuals could fill out individual, right? If it's not a group and they were just.
Oh, no,
It's
you
per
you say one
One for
for the
them.
group and not per food truck? So one $50.
Oh, sorry.
Your charges their people to come.
Per food truck, you're saying. I'm not sure. what the motion was.
I don't think it's clear.
It was for, that you said, we've never,
Okay, you can go back and visit your motion.
we've never had people.
Let's, can we do that? We'll go and revisit stuff.
So then we're gonna get a lot for trying, if they have 8 food trucks, I'm worried. Charge them $400 to possibly clean up. I mean, they provide their own dumpsters. They take all their garbage away. They're in charge of signage and everything.
And they're in Ortonville, when they go to Ortonville, it's the same thing. They have to pay the $50 per truck.
It should be.
And they get $25.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be the whole 50, they get 25.
Right, so they're paying 25 per event.
75.
I think that's getting super greedy because we've never charged anything. And Good Times brings all those people and they have 8 or 9 trucks here. They always have to give stuff back.
Yeah, we gotta remember this, people who run the food trucks are making. It's not all Good Times and Goodrich.
So here.
Because they don't leave nothing here, it's all that.
And it's like year's fundraiser is
Right.
They, you know, they say, you give us $30 to come park in this.
They don't leave a mess, I'm charging them.
That's what I said would be refundable if DPW said it's better. Yes, that's what I said.
So maybe we should do like
What about 40/20?
25. Cut the cost, it's still 25. Not refundable.
anyways, that was.
Yeah, we can do that. Don't check, just forget about any refundability. Just charge them a straight fee of $25 per set.
That worked.
Well, then I will make a motion to jump back to unfinished number, letter A. And we will still adopt the food truck permit application with the amendments mentioned, but change it from the 50 to 25 refundable to 25 straight across the board.
Okay.
Per truck,
I will support that. We have a
Not
motion.
refundable.
across the board, just there's
Okay.
no, if it's clean, it gets it back.
It's easier for them anyways, and they don't have to come back in and get money, and you don't have to deal with that. So, we have a motion, in support to amend the food truck, village permit application, so that we're charging a flat $25, per truck. No refundable. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thanks, Gordon.
That was just one of my things. Also with the Pontiac Street resurface, I was wondering, was that something that was in that road study that we paid for a few years back for Pontiac Street?
But I got the funding from the,
She had the funding once about.
from.
So we don't, we don't have any cost, the village itself doesn't have 10,000,
Will
okay.
be our fund.
And then my final question is, with the ladies historical building, you said there's 60,000 to redo the foundation from CDBG funds.
Yeah.
What percentage is the village and what is the township?
The township, was able to procure 50,000 and we were able to procure 10.
Okay, so there's no additional cost that's all from there. And who actually owns that building? The township or the village? The township. Village owns it. Okay. One thing. With my notes here, with the paving project, and the gentleman that was here said typically there's built-in 8 to 10% for like any cost overruns. I think in the future, it might be wise, especially with this, if the village does end up paying something, to maybe make that 10 to 15% overrun. You know, just a suggestion, because it was, I think it's 6%, you said.
Oh, the one that I'm working on, there's another one that will be coming forward. I put in 12%.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just, you know, lesson learned. Like,
Yes, absolutely.
Sherry, oh, sorry, that's the question. If that was to happen and they went under budget, how would those residents,
It would be refunded.
it'd be read as like a check or does your taxes refund? Okay.
How long was that road mill been open?
Oh, it's been a long, couple, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Was there enough traffic on it after it was milled to break down what was underneath?
You know,
Because it's a cul-de-sac, it's in the cul-de-sac.
And they're turning, I put roads in for 20 years. You open that road up and leave it milled. Every time you turn a tire on it, it chews asphalt apart.
But your base, if you had a clay base down there, right?
well, it's a stuff around her, it's play base, there's not very much on these.
Which is what it is.
I mean, I don't know what the new road, I think now you have to put base underneath there now, but I don't know what most it says to put in. It's just pretty much grade
The way they did it.
we did that.
Anybody else?
A lot of overlap.
All right, I will move on to council member comments. Anyone have any comments?
Keith, what if the gentleman that built that house moved that trailer on that property? So it's not right on the road.
He said he could move it back.
We have moved on to council member comments.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any
I didn't like how the permit situation went with him being so frustrated, but I think we handled it appropriately. I feel bad that he left frustrated, but you took on this endeavor. You know, you knew you were gonna build a house and you said you went to Port Austin all summer. I just hope that nobody else, I felt bad about how it ended, but it does need to go. Or else, like you said, if he can move it to the back, if he can move it somewhere, but it can't be an eyesight like that. And
My only issue is there's a lot of issues, ordinance type issues that we need to address. This one specifically, we've had a lot of complaints. And it's just an eyesore when you go down Eagle Road. You see it all the time. And it is setting a precedence, right? Somebody else can come along, want to build a house, and they say, well, there's a trailer that was there.
I thought it was for like. Back when they were doing projects. I didn't know.
You know, so I sympathize for him with all the issues that he had, but, you know, bottom line is we need to enforce our ordinance.
The same as anybody else, yes.
So, I mean, he said he couldn't have it hidden by then. Taking it back.
Well, he has a, well, he's looking at
No, he
it.
has- I thought we said that he had to remove it.
Yeah, he's. Done.
Anybody else? You are not on council.
I know, but I've got to tell you, MDOT did fix the base out by the sign out here. That was pretty hard. Did get it fixed.
Yeah.
What's that?
That was
It's pretty hard. MDOT the base by the sign here. by the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
Okay. That was the one I worried about. Oh, okay, good. All right, well, with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Or a motion to adjourn, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.